Welcome to today's mat practice. So, this practice is really about when you've overdone it, whether it's working around the house or in the yard or too much activity, when your body just feels used in ways that you don't normally do. And you need a little practice just to kind of reset, to readjust everything. And generally, that means a lot of hamstring and back. So if you were out gardening or working in the yard, things like that. Also the shoulders and the neck, kind of taking care of all of that. So we're going to hit all the big spots today, but we're going to start out on the floor. So set yourself up. If you need to pause the video and come back, please do. And we're going to take our positions on the floor. So find your space, all right? Knees bent, feet flat on the floor, because that just kind of allows you a little bit of information, a little feedback about your back. All right, so we're going to start with a really small movement, and it's really about your spine. So I'm going to move my arm. You don't have to do this part. I just want you to be able to see, if you're looking, the spine. So on your inhale, you're just going to arch your back a little bit. So your belly, your chest are pushing toward the ceiling. You're getting that little space behind your low back. And then when you exhale, really pull your belly button in, flattening your spine toward the floor, gently pressing with your feet. So arms are wherever you like, just moving that spine. The entire time you inhale, finding that little arch. The entire time you exhale, pulling that belly button in, flattening your back. So as you do this little movement, kind of notice what feels a little stiff, a little tight along your spine. Maybe it's at your low back. Maybe it's that middle back between your shoulder blades. Maybe it's even along your neck. This is really just a check-in. Now we're going to continue that little spinal movement. We're going to add moving the arms. So on your next inhalation, as you arch your back, raise both arms toward the floor above your head. If you need to bend your elbows, that's okay. And then when you exhale, return your arms to your sides, really pull that belly button in. So do this a few more times. Feeling that space across your chest as you inhale, really engaging those abdominal muscles on your exhale. We do two more. If you're going faster or slower than I am, that's fine. Just find your space. So maybe one more time. The next time your arms are down by your sides, let those arms rest alongside your body. All right, so this time you're going to lift your feet up off the floor. You can hold the backs of your legs if you like. It's not required, but you do want to find a spot where your low back feels supported. On your next inhalation, you're going to straighten both legs toward the ceiling, pushing out through your heels. And then exhale, bend your knees in towards your belly. Really, this is a great check-in as well. You want to feel your hips, your knees, your ankles, those hamstrings a little bit, maybe your calves. Just notice, this is a good check-in movement. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of strength. So the next time your legs are toward the ceiling, I want you to press out through your heels, pull your belly button in. If you can, keep your legs in this position. See if you can just bring your arms alongside your head. And then return your arms to your sides, really pulling that belly button in. So we're working the core muscles. I just want to do one more. This time when you exhale, you're going to bend your knees in towards your belly, wrap your arms around your legs, and just rock a little bit from side to side. Feel that little extra stretch at your low back. Maybe feel your hip flexors yelling at you. So let's take care of those hip flexors. So open your feet wider than hip distance away from each other on the floor. Now we're going to do a little twist so your arms can be wherever you have space. On your exhale, take both knees to one side. Just remember which way you went. And then when you inhale, we're going to return to the center and exhale, go the other way. Inhale, untwisting. And then exhale, twisting. Again, you go with the speed of your breath. Now remind yourself, there's no need to push with your feet. We want to keep that core awareness. So as you twist, really pull your belly button in, kind of like you're wringing out a cloth. All right, now here's the deal, folks. Hopefully you felt a little bit warmed up, especially across your hips and your pelvis, because we're going to twist the knees to the right, chin goes left, and hang out here. Now, when we stay in the pose, gravity gets to do the work. Hopefully you're warmed up enough that you can kind of sink into it, feeling that extra space. If you want to make it a little extra stretch, you can cross your right ankle over your left knee, feeling that space across your left hip flexor. If you want to make it even bigger, you can bring that left arm alongside your head, and that way you get that big stretch down your left side. Again, still checking in, but we're looking for the space. If you can, maybe one more breath right here. And as always, if you get there and you're like, nope, that's a bad idea, just back off. Take care of yourself. I like to come out of this with the back protected. So first the arm comes down, then you uncross your ankle, then you untwist. That way your back doesn't have so much load as you're untwisting. All right, and then we're going to do the other side. So feet are wide. You're twisting both knees to the left. Take a breath here. I know it's exciting, but see if you can just find that space first and then decide if you want to cross your left ankle over your right knee. Again, gravity's doing the work. You're not pulling with your leg. It's just the weight of that extra leg, creating that additional stretch, that additional space. And then if you want to add lifting your right arm to rest alongside your head, you can do that. Maybe notice that extra space as you inhale through your rib cage, gently pulling your belly button in as you exhale. And then to protect your back, first bring your arm down, then uncross your ankle, then untwist. And that way you can come all the way onto your back again. Bring both knees in towards your belly. Wrap your arms around your legs and just rock a little bit from side to side here. If you like, you can lift your head up towards your knees and then set your shoulders and your head to the floor. Now we're going to bring both hands to that right knee and stretch your left leg straight out onto the floor. When you get here, think about pressing both hips, both butt cheeks into the floor, maybe even clenching your glutes just a little bit, gentle clench. I like to put my left hand on my left hip bone just to remind myself I want to keep that left hip pressing into the floor, because on my next inhale, I'm going to open that right knee to the right side. And then when you exhale, bring your knee back in towards your belly. Just that. Do this a couple of times. Maybe clenching those glutes as you open your knee. You can relax the clench when you bring your knee back in towards your belly. Now you can continue with that right knee bent, or if you're feeling frisky, you can straighten your right leg toward the ceiling and open your leg out to the side unless there's a wall in the way, and then bring your leg back. So do this a couple more times. Oh, the challenges of home studio space. I'm going to do one more. I hold up two fingers. One more. All right, and then hang out there. If your knee is bent, that's fine. You can always bend your knee, but we want to hold that extra stretch. You can even set your right foot onto the floor if that's better, so you can get that extra stretch on the inside of that right leg. All right, and then bring your right knee bent in towards your belly. Bring both knees in towards your belly and just rock a little bit from side to side. So that was a little asymmetrical. Let's go ahead and bring your head up towards your knees if you like, engaging those abdominal muscles just to get that even stretch along your back. And then set your shoulders and your head to the floor. This time we're going to hold on to the left leg, stretching that right leg out onto the floor. When you do this, maybe notice it as you extend that right leg, the tendency is to kind of shift your hips, shift your pelvis. So try and keep your hips, your pelvis nice and stable. Maybe clench those glutes. You can bring your right hand to rest on your right hip bone. And then keeping that left knee bent, when you inhale, just open your knee to the side. Exhale, come back to the center. I know it's exciting to do it with a straight leg, but see if you can find that pelvic stability first. So with that knee bent, you can really focus on clenching your glutes as you open to the side and then relaxing as you bring your knee back in. And be one more just with that knee bent, really focusing on that stability through your hips. And then you can get crazy. Then you can straighten that left leg if you like, opening your left leg to the side. It's different. And then bring your leg back. Again, if your leg doesn't love that perfectly straight knee, you can bend your knee a little bit, or you can bend your knee a lot. You choose. The next time your leg is out to the side, though, see if you can find a spot where you can stay. Clenching those glutes, nice stable hips, looking for that stretch on the inside of your left leg. All right, and then you're going to bend your left knee, bring both knees in towards your belly, wrap your arms around both legs, and rock a little bit from side to side. And then lift your head up towards your knees, curling yourself up into a little egg. And then relax your shoulders, relax your head, set your feet down onto the floor, knees bent toward the ceiling. And then we're just going to do a little to stabilize that low back. So all I want you to do is when you inhale, you're going to press your feet into the floor, press your arms into the floor, lift your hips a little bit. And then when you exhale, lower your hips all the way back down. Try and use your abdominal muscles to control that descent. So when you inhale, lifting. And then when you exhale, think about rolling your spine down one joint at a time. Try and keep your toes on the floor. I know they want to help. Mine do. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, lowering down. We're just going to do one more. It's really just about creating that stability across your back, that nice even strengthening across your hips. Once your hips are on the floor, the hips are going to stay on the floor, and then we're going to roll over onto the hands and knees. If hands and knees are no good for you, especially if you overdid it by kneeling, just come up into a standing position. But I'm going to show you kneeling. So as you come onto your hands and knees or up into that standing position, make sure there's a little space between your feet, a little space between your knees. All you're going to do is move the spine. So on your exhale, you're pulling that belly button in, rounding your spine, finding that stretch along your spine, tuck your chin. And then when you inhale, keep your abdomen engaged, lifting through your chest. Try not to let your belly just flop. So exhale, pulling that belly button in. Maybe even squeeze your shoulders towards your ears. Inhale, flattening your back, lifting through your chest. Do this a couple more times wherever you are. On your next exhale, pull that belly button in, push your hips back, bend your elbows to the floor. If you're standing, just do a forward fold. And then stay folding forward. Walk your hands to the right a little bit. As you do this, reach out through your left fingertips just a little bit, extending through your left fingers, pushing your hips straight back, just so you can find that little extra stretch down the left side of your body. Breathing easy. All right, and then you're going to walk your hands back to the center. Take a breath at the center. And then walk your hands over to the other side. Reaching out through your right fingertips. If you're doing this standing, just find that little extension through your right arm, pushing your hips straight back. Breathing easy. And then we're going to walk the hands back to the center. Come back up onto your hands and knees. And then we're going to come all the way up to standing. So if you're not already there, if you love a little down dog is great for getting those ankles, your calves, but it's not so great for the shoulders. So if your shoulders don't love it, don't do it. Now, as you come up to standing, give yourself a moment, adjust everything. All right, and then just starting with the shoulders. When you inhale, squeeze your shoulders towards your ears. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. Maybe 2 more, just like that. Okay, 1 more time. And then let your shoulders relax. All right, so we're going to do 1 more stability, a little bit of work for the legs. And if your legs are really tired, just make it a smaller movement. You don't have to make it giant. But start with your feet parallel-ish to each other, hands on your legs. And then all you're going to do is bend your knees like you're doing a little baby squat. At the same time, glide your hands down your legs, folding forward. We're looking for that stretch along your back. Think about tucking your tailbone, pulling that belly button in, and then gently lifting through your chest, then pushing through your legs to stand all the way up. Now check in. If you're feeling very dizzy, back off. That means you've gone too far. You can just go halfway, bending, rounding your spine, and then inhale, lifting your chest. That's an option. You can make it as big or as small as you need. I'm going to invite you to do 2 more, really 2 this time. So folding forward wherever it feels useful for you. Lifting through your chest so you can let your legs do the work to lift all the way up, pushing into the floor, nice and even. Last one. Folding forward. Keeping your butt low, lift through your chest, and then stand all the way up. And once you come up to standing, just take a second. That might have been a little bit of work, but maybe notice your hips, your legs, that circulation all the way down to your feet. Okay, so we're going to do a standing twist next. You have a couple of options. If you have a block or a book or something you want to put on the floor in between your feet, you can use that. I'm a fan of no props, so what you're going to do is start with your legs wide, and we're going to reach the arms out to the sides. Feel nice and tall, kind of a starfish position here. On your exhale, you're going to bring your left hand to the floor in between your 2 feet. You can bend your knees as much as you want, but turn your chest to the right as you go. And then when you inhale, come all the way back up. Now we're going to do the same arm, same spot. So exhale, just rotating through your chest, really pull that belly button in. Inhale, come back up. That might be a good spot for you. You can return to that spot, or if you want to take it a little deeper, maybe take that left hand a little closer to your opposite foot. And then when you inhale, come up. Listen to your body. Same spot-ish. And then come back up. Okay, last one. If your top arm is starting to bug you, just bring your arm alongside your body as you twist. And then we're going to come back up. This time when you twist, you're going to find a spot to stay. So you choose whatever variation works for you, but we want to rotate your chest toward the right as much as you can. Think tall. Maybe turn your chin toward the floor, and then turn your chin toward the ceiling. Can we do it 1 more time? Turn your chin toward the floor, and then turn your chin toward the ceiling. Now we're going to bring that top hand to the floor, both hands to the floor in between your legs. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. If your hands are resting on the floor, you can always hold on to your opposite elbows here. We're looking for that even stretch along your back. Now you're going to bend your knees a little bit more. Slowly stand all the way up. Take your time. As you come up to stand, and give yourself a minute. Check in with your body. It's a lot of up and down. Sometimes when we have low blood pressure, that up and down makes us extra dizzy. Sometimes when the barometer's changing. Sometimes if the air is just too dry. These are all options, so pay attention. All right. Are you ready? Did I talk long enough? Can we do the other side? All right, pace yourself. Arms out Find that starfish position. So you're really extending through all of your limbs. On your exhale, we're going to bring that right hand directly between your 2 feet-ish. You can bend your knees as much as you want, turning your chest left. And then inhale, come back up. Same hand, same spot. So we're really just warming it up, repeating this movement. Now, if you want, you can take that right hand a little bit closer to your opposite leg. And then come back up. Again, right hand a little bit closer. You choose. And then take your right hand as close to your opposite foot as it seems useful today. Inhale, come all the way back up. We're going to do one more and stay there. So you choose. It doesn't matter. You don't get extra points. You just want to find the space. So again, if your top arm is bugging, you can always bring your arm alongside your body, but you want to rotate your chest to the left. Now just turn your chin toward the floor. And then turn your chin toward the ceiling, rotating that chest. Maybe turn your chin to the floor again. And then turn your chin toward the ceiling. All right, now you're going to bring both hands to the floor. Hang. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Maybe hold your opposite elbows. Find that even stretch along your back. And then bend your knees a little bit more, slowly, slowly. Stand all the way up, take your time. Step your feet together. All right, so we're going to stay standing. Less up and down now. We're just going to focus on the arms. So on your next inhalation, sweep your arms out to the sides, reaching toward the ceiling as high as it feels good. And then when you exhale, just sweep your arms all the way back down alongside your body. Do this a couple more times. If you like, as you raise your arms, you can lift your chin. When you lower your arms, you can tuck your chin. Maybe one more time. All right, once your arms come down, we're going to come all the way down into a seated position here. Take your time. As you find your seated position, stretch your legs out in front of you-ish. Your knees do not have to be perfectly straight. All right, so the good news is we're just going to do one thing here. I want you to walk your hands down your legs as far forward as it feels good. Hands stay on your legs. Your hands stay here. When you inhale, you're just going to lift through your chest, flatten your back. And then when you exhale, really pull that belly button in, folding forward. So inhale, lifting through your spine. Think about pulling your shoulder blades back and down. And then when you exhale, pull that belly button in. If your hips don't love this, just come onto your back. If you can, maybe one more, just extending through your spine. And then exhale, pull that belly button in, folding forward. You're going to stay here. You can even reach your hands down towards your feet. Maybe flex your feet, pushing out through your heels. Oh, see, we're hitting all kinds of crazy spots. Take one more breath. And then slowly sit all the way up. Now we're going to come all the way down onto the floor if you're feeling frisky, especially if you have a little low back tension. To help release low back tension, we want to strengthen the abdominals. Sorry. So maybe reach your arms out in front of you. When you inhale, you're pulling your elbows back, pulling that belly button in, leaning back a little bit, and then exhale, just reach forward. It's kind of a reverse sit-up. And the truth is you can go as fast as you want. You can just flop to the floor. But the goal is to get those abdominals to work. When we contract the abdominal muscles, the low back has to release. So once you come to the floor, maybe notice, maybe your back popped on the way down. Pain is always a sign of too far. All right, so once you're on your back, bend your knees, set your feet flat onto the floor, and try and find a spot where your low back feels supported now. It feels easy. And then bring your big toes together, your heels together, knees bent toward the ceiling. Arms get to rest wherever you like. On your inhale, you're just going to open those knees wide away from each other. So we're really focusing on stretching these inside muscles of your legs. When you exhale, bring your knees all the way together. You can even get that little extra action with your spine. So when your knees go wide, you feel that little arch in your back. When your knees come together, really pulling that belly button in. Do this a couple more times. The next time your knees are wide, you can let those knees stay wide. Now this can be a resting position. If this is already causing you pain and discomfort anywhere in your body, don't stay here, you know. But the invitation is just to let gravity do the work here. If your brain is trained to do a little clench and release with your glutes, you can do that. But really, we're just trying to be passive, sinking into this little stretch. Take another breath or two. Now to come out, I want you to just bring your knees halfway toward each other, kind of tilting your pelvis toward the floor, holding your legs here. A little tremor is okay, a little wiggle is okay. Bringing those knees just a little bit closer together, kind of tilting your pelvis as you go. I get taller, so I have to move my head every time. You listen to your body. And then bring your knees all the way together. Lift your feet up off the floor, hands on your knees, and just take your knees in big, slow circles here. The goal here is just to get that little massage around your hips, your sacrum, your low back. Maybe take your knee circles in the opposite direction. And then hug your knees in toward your chest. One last ab effort, pulling your head up toward your knees. And then you're going to find a comfortable resting spot for your legs. A nice recovery position is legs at the wall. I didn't give you that instruction at the beginning, so if you're not close to a wall, you can pause and find some wall, or you can even just raise your legs onto a chair or your sofa or your bed. But find your space and remind yourself it's just about elevating the legs. So find a spot where you can feel that shift in gravity through your legs. Arms can rest wherever you like. If at any point the backs of your knees or heels start to yell at you, you can always bend your knees. The ease in this pose, the restoration comes from the less effort necessary of your heart to push the blood all the way to your feet and back again. Just in case you need that in Trivial Pursuit, if you still play that game. So take a couple of breaths. Give your body a moment just to rest here. If you have time, you can stay here. You can let the video play out. Taking this moment to rest is a wonderful way to take care, to kind of slow down the momentum of big activities, to just pause and notice how you feel. Maybe just to breathe. Now, I want you to stay for a little bit longer, but I want to talk you through getting out of this legs elevated. however high your legs are, even if they're just on the bed or the sofa. I want you to bring your knees in towards your belly and roll to one side. So when you're ready to come up, take your time. That shift in the effort for your heart, it's really hard to make it just bounce back. So give it a minute before you shift your body into a seated position or before you jump up into your next crazy activity. Maybe give yourself a little pat on the back for taking this time for recovering, kind of balancing your body for your next adventure. Thank you so much for playing. Namaste.